Hello, this is Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Manu. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, Ken Ofori-Atta's fate to be decided next week as the Censure Motion Committee lays its report before Parliament, setting the stage for a debate.
Of the ad hoc committee on the motion of censure against the Honourable Minister for Finance. I guess you should get the caption right. The censure is not against the minister. The censure is in respect of the minister.
We have details as the minority invites NPP MPs to join them as the embattled finance minister.
I'm glad that we're going to now have a full debate in Parliament, and then we'll take the vote, which will be by secret vote. And I hope that we'll meet the two-third threshold. If only our colleagues on the other side would just, show some principle, some consistency.
Also tonight, disappointment in the Ashanti regional capital as they shun the planting for food and jobs market due to high prices.
Price that they are quoting 70 cedis for 4.5 kg. I think it's a little bit dear.
Knocked down, bruised and abandoned, the story of a mother physically assaulted by her own husband and left without justice. We'll bring you details of this story and more here on Joy News Prime. At 8 p.m. we have Prime Business, and the Institute of Economic Affairs forecast an increase in the policy rate by 200 basis points to 26.5% ahead of the announcement by the central bank. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. We are live on the DSTV channel 41 and GoTV 144. Please stay for details. Hello there, my name is Ernest Minu. Let's settle for the details now. The 8-member ad hoc committee set up by Parliament to probe the minority censure motion has laid its report in the House. It comes more than a week after it concluded its work. This paves way for a contentious debate on the floor before the final vote to seal the fate of Ken Ofori-Atta. Parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante has more in this report.
Before the report was laid, Majority Leader Osei Chairman Sabonsu raised some technical objections, which was later resolved.
The report of the ad hoc committee on the motion of censure against the Honourable Minister for Finance. I guess you should get the caption right. The censure is not against the minister. The censure is in respect of the minister, or is on the minister.
Yeah, what it is about the minister, one way or the other. Whatever it is, we understand what it means. It's about the minister.
Mr. Speaker, I think that is how it is captioned. A report of the ad hoc committee on the motion of censure against. So just as it's a place in it's captured in the other paper. But really, my leader, what is the motion was brought, well, he said it's it's on him, it's against him, so maybe for now we will leave it as it is. Subsequently, if we have to do another one, we won't do it against, we'll do it on whatever. So for now, I think we'll claim the indulgence on the House to adopt it as it is.
Speaking to Joy News, member of the committee, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, says he's not happy about the slow pace in dealing with the committee's report and taking a final decision on the embattled finance minister.
On the floor of the House today, I was particularly unhappy about the laissez-faire, very nonchalant, and really, haggling over issues that don't really matter, technicalities, what language to use and what should be the proper rendition, those things that really do not get to the heart of the matter. The Ghanaian people are looking up to us, and every single day that Kanoforiata continues to stay and operate from the finance ministry, you see what is happening. I mean, more downgrades, inflation continues to, get through the roof. The cost of living crisis is becoming more and more unbearable. I mean, this is a man, you listen to his budget, he's run out of ideas.
Okujetua Blakwa has also been extending an invitation to NPP MPs to join the minority remove finance minister. He's been warning that MPs would have abdicated their responsibility if Ken Ofori-Atta remains in office.
So I'm glad that we're going to now have a full debate in Parliament, and then we'll take the vote, which will be by secret vote. And I hope that we'll meet the two-third threshold. If only our colleagues on the other side would just, show some principle, some consistency. Every now and then, they give us the impression that they are with us, they will support us. And then when the president calls them, when their party calls them, they forget about the Ghanaian people. They forget about their constituents.
For this censure motion to pass, the NDC minority need at least 183 of their colleagues to support them. The NDC MPs have only 136 votes. They would need about 47 of their NPP colleagues to join them to remove Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. For Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House.
And 24 hours after Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta presented the 2023 budget, economist at the University of Ghana, Godfred Alufo-Bokben, has questioned government's decision to hike taxes, describing the budget as uninspiring and will not be able to foster the needed growth of the economy. In the budget, government plans to cut expenditure, especially among political appointees and state institutions. It also planned to increase revenue by hiking the VAT rate while also improving on its revenue collection. The NDC minority in Parliament, however, is questioning the measures and demanding specifics of government expenditure cuts as a condition for supporting the budget. Economist Godfred Bokben says government failed to show leadership when its 2023 budget was read by failing to cut down on the size of government.
Then if you want to prioritize, then people will have issues if that becomes highly elevated. But of course, if the original concept was that the churches, the private sector, or individuals were going to contribute to it and all of that, I think let's stick to that.
Right.
Let's stick to that. That honesty is important.
Prof, so you mentioned for you that cutting down the size of government would have been a better sign of showing commitment to dealing with the economic crisis in the country.
Yes.
And for you, things like, the V8s not, embarking on
50% coupon for fuel.
And all those things are not
difficult to monitor.
Are difficult to monitor. But what's your take on the hamper issue, though? It's not the first time. In 2013, in 2014, we had government announcing to SOEs and MMDCs not to embark on that. This year, it has come up again. Would you say that is also not commendable because you can measure it?
That's not what would cause the market to positively receive the budget. Those don't mean much, actually.
Mm.
And when we are saying, you see, and these are not reforms. These are not growth enhancing. We are saying that the way we have operationalized our democracy is too expensive. The cost of governance is just too expensive. Across central government, state-owned enterprises, it's too expensive. The economy can't sustain that. So what you want to do and what we are asking for is that in addition to an IMF-supported program, Ghana should be pursuing some governance reforms, okay, which may also have implications for the current constitution and what needs to be done in order to all lean towards lean, efficient government. Then, even if you are not able to significantly expand your revenue envelope because you are running a lean government,
right,
and we are also pursuing efficiency, that will free up space for growth-enhancing spending or investment.
The budget did not also address the issue of rising prices of fuel in the country, but the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has revealed that government will buy 20% of gold from mining companies to be used to buy fuel rather than using the Bank of Ghana's dollar reserves. Let me bring you details of his post on Facebook. The Vice President says the use of gold to buy imported oil product. The demand for foreign exchange by oil importers in the face of dwindling foreign exchange reserves results in the depreciation of the cedi and increases in the cost of living with higher prices for fuel, transportation, utilities, etc. It goes on to say, to address this challenge, government is negotiating a new policy regime with our gold rather than our US dollar reserves will be used to buy oil products. The barter of sustainably mined gold for oil is one of the most important economic policy changes in Ghana since independence. If we implement it as envisioned, it will fundamentally change our balance of payments and significantly reduce the persistent depreciation of our currency with its associated increases in fuel, electricity, water, transport, and food prices. This because the exchange rate will no longer directly enter the formula for the determination of fuel or utility prices, since all the domestic sellers of fuel will no longer need foreign exchange to import oil products. The barter of gold for oil represents a major structural change. My thanks to the Ministers for Lands and Natural Resources, Energy and Finance, Precious Minerals Marketing Company, the Ghana Chamber of Mines, and the Governor of the Bank of Ghana for their supportive work on this new policy. So that is the Vice President there. He ends by saying, we expect this new framework to fully be operational by end of the first quarter of 2023. The Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Oil Petroleum Consumers, Duncan Amwa, has been reacting to this announcement made by the Vice President.
As far as fuel market is concerned, there's going to be a lot of pressure because China is insisting that it bounces back to the productive numbers that it had pre-COVID. India is picking up. Right now, the ban on Russia, if it takes the kind of toll that the Russians, the Europeans expect, then it means Russia is getting knocked off. Once Russia gets knocked off, and then you come to a point where OPEC is also decelerating, the numbers they put out there daily. 2023 could be as difficult, twice as difficult as 2022 has been, as far as international commodity pricing, particularly for fuel, is concerned. And so we would have expected that these outlooks would inform policy on our side. These outlooks would inform the benchmarks that we set here by way of the taxes we put on fuel, by way of the city's influence on fuel pricing within the country. Unfortunately, we didn't get any of these indications in the budget. And so that leaves, that space a lot opened. It leaves speculations as far as the currency, performance is concerned, a little opened. We would have expected that at least the budget would tackle the Bank of Ghana's interventions that we are seeing currently with the BDCs, so that it becomes something more institutionalized, so that the BDCs are quite aware that for every metric ton of fuel we are importing, the BOG is willing and is able to, get us the forex. And so the forward rating figures that we've had to use that increases fuel prices, we'll probably have to moderate on it. Unfortunately, if you go through the entire document, you do not get any such indication. It has more to do with, government deciding that appointees should take 30% and fuel should be cut to them and all of that. If you cut fuel to appointees, that will not reduce petrol prices to the teacher, to the nurse, to the doctor, to the ordinary, Ghanaian who needs fuel to be able to go to work Monday to Sunday.
Let's do some other stories now. And patrons of the maiden Kumasi edition of Government's Planting for Food and Jobs Market have expressed disappointment in the turn of events. They say the commodities, a few bags of local rice, some vegetables, gari as well, are expensive compared to those sold on the ordinary market. After a long wait for the market to start, the pickup full of food items that arrived at the venue were limited. Love FM's Mona Lisa Frimpong has the following report.
At 7 a.m. in the morning, some patrons had gathered at the Prempeh Assembly Hall in Kumasi in anticipation of Government's Planting for Food and Jobs Market. Some who had travelled from far and near were expecting to buy low-priced commodities introduced by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. However, after several hours of waiting, there seemed to be no sign of the food commodities.
I buy a crying say no man cry ready with her. Yeah, Baba Piviato near Koya baby.
And so, what's the situation here?
And yet, go be bien you.
It may be do her around 9. Any action ya bepim sabri. Wa mo catch and say, in Yanina Eba. Any action ya feeling Yamiadum Abba.
Yatna sa Yaba Hasina, and almost say, Omuya, Omubi catches almost a Ghana card. Into Mayasa Kufi, Yakufiabo, Niakofa Ghana card.
At midday, a Toyota pickup loaded with bags of rice, spinach, lettuce, carrot, and spring onions was spotted heading to the grounds. But patrons were dissatisfied as they were expecting a variety of staple foods.
Even I was coming to buy a plantain, and I've been waiting for it since from morning and it hasn't come yet. So when I saw the rice, then I decided to buy the rice and go home.
Me buy say even kemeto emo nanka me bia na jene ene anwa bi ebeka ho nanka mato nim say bia nioma bebre be bentinka me hwe say me hu say nioma ne do na me hu de me pa nanka mato but ankosa enti na che say wo say mo nanka sa na meto na me de eko.
Customers say the commodities are highly priced. They expressed surprise at the supposed affordable commodities, which they say are high compared to similar ones sold at market centers in Kumasi.
I came here purposely for the rice, but the price that they are quoting, 70 cedis for 4.5 kg, I think is a little bit dear. So I've bought this. This is cabbage. The price is 5. I used to buy this type of organic ones at the KNUST greenhouse for between 8 and 10 cedis. So 5 is okay.
Yetie money born almost money is 70 cedis. Tinaka yes, stress and common farmer 50. I say now, I want you all. Now, one of the 70 cedis. If I show we no sack na ekuta a local rice nibi. And think I want the my 50 and fish and kaboy and kadodona etimi at to be a man.
I'm one of the Romsey local near him send a bono. I be conform, but I buy almost 3.5. I'm wanting the 50 no, and on ye 60, 70. Baby the G 70, baby to the G 60. But when you say I buy dear, we want to send KB sister and Kay normal.
But the Ministry of Food and Agriculture says the prices are not as high as the patrons suggest. Reverend John Manu is the Ashanti Regional Director of Agriculture.
Carrots is being sold over here, a bag. It's about 20 cedis. But when it gets outside the open market, it's more than, it's from 25 to 30 cedis. We are saying that if we continue this exercise, people will realize that produce over here is affordable. They will come. And as they come, people people will not be going to the open market, right? And it will force them also to reduce their price.
Reverend John Manu says the initiative is to persuade traders in the open market to reduce prices of their food items. They believe this will make it affordable for all.
And all that we are doing, not that we want to support people's business, but we want people to be considerate, right? So that at least, if you are going to get 100% profit, get about 50 to 75, and let the consumer have a breathing space.
Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
Knocked, bruised and paralyzed, but also left without justice. That's the story of Amma Kujem, a mother of two here in Accra. Amma was a victim of a ghastly accident that left her paralyzed. She tells Shaw News her husband has rejected her due to her condition. Amma needs love, care, but more importantly, justice. Samuel Mbura has the rest of the story.
Genevieve Amma Kujem is an accident victim who escaped death narrowly from two deadly crashes.
I'm 2 times accident victim. The first one happened at 2:04, and I was struggling with it for many years, and it led me to permanent disability.
Regardless of her situation, she went in search of a job to take care of her 2 children. She was employed as a toll booth attendant, but the unfortunate happened again.
I got opportunity to work there, and the second accident too happened there. When the driver came, when I saved the driver, after he moved the car, it was loaded with iron rocks. So the gate opened and bounced me, and so I fell and broke implants in my leg.
I asked her what has become of the driver who caused her this pain, and I could see the hurt in her eyes.
The driver is a Lebanese company driver, and the driver too is running away. And the thing I've made, like, I don't know how to describe it, because it's my management that have to take the case. But it's like they are covering something.
As if it couldn't get worse, her husband rejected her because she had become permanently disabled.
It led me for my marriage to break. The man left me because I'm now a permanent disability person. So I'm there hoping for God divine intervention.
Genevieve Amma Kujem says she can no longer pay her bills and is forced to depend on friends for survival. She wants justice.
For now, I'm pleading to the government, I need justice for what happened to me at the toll booth, because I went to work for the nation Ghana. So if something like that have happened to me, they have to attend to me, because I can't even afford anything. Now I can't even go to hospital for my review. My drugs, I base on friends. I have to beg for food. I have to beg for help. So it is not easy for me.
A 37-year-old woman has been left with deep machete wounds after she was allegedly hacked by her husband, according to Jane Adonko. But for the timely intervention of her neighbors who called in the police, she would have been murdered. She's appealed to the Inspector General of Police to help her seek justice. Janet is now nursing severe wounds. This morning, following report.
Janet was on admission at the Tamale Teaching Hospital for close to 3 weeks. She was allegedly butchered by her husband on the 3rd of November 2022 at their home in Tatale. According to Janet, she woke up in the middle of the night to urinate, but noticed that the door was locked whilst her husband was sitting in the chair. She asked why the husband had locked the door and demanded the keys to open the door. But the husband refused and asked her to urinate into a container. Jane says she went back to sleep, only to wake up to the husband cutting her body with her machete.
On that fateful day, we went to the farm together and came back. When we got back, I prepared food and we all ate. I then took my bath and went to sleep. Around 12 o'clock, I woke up to bed, but I noticed the door was locked, and he was sitting in his chair. So I asked why he had locked the door, demanding that he open so that I could urinate. But he insisted I use a rubber container and urinate in it. I refused and went back to sleep. It was around 1 o'clock I felt him cutting my body with a cutlass.
Janet said even though she has been discharged from the hospital, she's seeking refuge in Tamale here because her husband, who was arrested, has been released. She questioned why the police, since the day of the incident, have still not taken her statement.
Now the everyone said, and there, Sika Kasa, no here dim. And yes, Sika Kasa, na ohia din na yakata anakrani swa. Na some see here and I
when money speaks, the truth is shielded. I want to find out, did the police visit the scene just for visiting sake, or to see how the blood was oozing out of my body, or to take the pictures and show it to the world? Because since they visited or took the pictures, they have not taken my statement or visited the hospital. If not for God that has Allah, assuming I had died, how would they know what happened?
Sister of the victim, Victoria Waja, expressed worry little has been done to prosecute the man. She therefore called on the Inspector General of Police, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social.
You're enjoying News Prime with me, Ernest Kojo Manu. We're taking a break. On Where 10, we'll bring you some more stories. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. Time now for Joy News Editorial. Abrakumson is on standby.
Now today we ask, will our politics ever transcend partisanship? Is there hope that our democracy will sooner than later be compared to that of the much admired democracies of the West that we attempt to emulate? Now, politics is a game of chess, as they say. Every move politicians make could be analyzed and interpreted, not only for its significance in the wider electoral tournament, but also for the possible moves or false moves it might induce from opponents. So 4 weeks ago, the majority in Parliament held a press conference calling on the President to sack Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. To many people, this signaled a new dawn in Ghana's politics. Finally, the MPs from the governing party were exerting their independence and holding the executive in check. To firm up their threats, they warned that if Ken Ofori-Atta presents the budget, they would boycott Parliament.
Developments within our economy are of great concern to the greater majority of members of our caucus and our constituents. We want to serve notice, and notice is hereby served, that until such persons as aforementioned are made to resign or removed from office, we, members of the majority caucus here in Parliament, will not participate in any business of government by or for the President by any other minister.
But after this spirited delivery, skeptics doubted that the 98 rebel MPs would go ahead with their threats. And time proved the skeptics right. Just like a rain-soaked bird, they recoiled, they backtracked, and they did not support the minority censure against the finance minister. They wanted Ken Ofori-Atta to resign, but he refused to do so. They wanted the president, Akufo-Addo, to sack his cousin, but he also refused to do so, at least for now. So although they wanted the finance minister to go, they did not want him to go through a censure vote. Confusing, right? But this is politics.
back to the original position that we took. And that original position is to say that the Minister of Finance will not be the one who must read the budget and must not be the one who do the appropriation. We are here this morning to say that this is going to be very soon for you to see the position of us. And we are going to be positively defiant on that posture until that action is taken. However, we are not going to support the cause of the NDC in the chamber this morning.
Now, the censure hearing was heavily punctuated with partisanship. Our MPs could not rise above that. And a few days before the budget presentation, the 98 MPs renewed their threat to boycott government business in Parliament if Ms. Ofori-Atta went ahead to present the budget. But they were convinced to stay on. The rebel MP said their constituents do not believe that Ken Ofori-Atta can turn the economy around. So why are they not following through with what their constituents wanted? What changed? So essentially, the 98 rebel MPs developed weak knees, so they couldn't stand by their threats. They were wobbly. Their stance flip-flopped. Who will believe them when they speak next time? The honorable MPs have lost every ounce of credibility. How do we trust them the next time when they say something they don't intend to follow through? I end with a quote by former French President Charles de Gaulle, who said, "Since a politician never believes what he says, he is quite surprised to be taken at his word." Believe President Gaulle, because he was a politician.
Johnny is Prime with me, Ernest Manu. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says the ongoing linkage of databases of the Ghana Police Service with the NIA will soon lead to speedy investigations by the Criminal Investigations Department and other departments of the Ghana Police Service. The move, according to the Vice President, is to counter the constant shifts, especially in the nature and complexity of crime, including cybercrime and related attacks. Dr. Bawumia, who was speaking at the graduation ceremony for the 51st cadet of the Ghana Police Service, called on the administration to maximize opportunities under the ongoing government digitalization agenda to strengthen the police transformation project to meet contemporary policing.
I would like to call on the police administration to maximize the opportunities under the ongoing government digitalization agenda to strengthen the police transformation project to meet contemporary policing priorities and improve law enforcement delivery and transnational collaborations for full benefits of the residents of Ghana and our neighboring countries. With each passing day, the frontiers of crime witness shifts, especially in the nature of and complexity of crime, with cybercrime and related attacks rapidly becoming a global concern. Therefore, no police organization can fully meet its vision without the empowering tools of digitalization. I'm happy to note that there is an ongoing project to link the police crime database with the National Identification Database. And this will allow people, organizations and institutions and individuals to conduct very efficient and quick background checks on everybody that is being employed at any institution, for example.
Now, when you hear Crocodile Pond as a tourist or a tourist site, what comes to mind? Well, I bet you said Paga. You said it, right? Yeah, I give that to you. But however, Kumasa, located in the Solatu Nakaba district of the Savannah region, also has many crocodile ponds. In fact, the crocodiles are regarded as the totems of the people, and killing them is forbidden. If seen in the homes of the people, it is a signal that one of the elders of the community will die soon. Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports that although the crocodiles are not tamed, they are harmless.
The Kolma crocodile pond has been in existence for centuries, according to tour guide Justice Nudawana.
The origin of these crocodiles can be traced at the time there was a war between Babatu and Samori. You know, Babatu and Samori were slave raiders. So our great-grandfather was chased by warriors. He arrived at the deeper stream that he needed to cross. An object appeared from the water like a piece of wood. He sat on it and they took him across the water. When the enemies got to the stream and they were trying to cross, they rather drawn inside the stream. It is then that he turned and realized that what he was sitting on was actually not a piece of wood, but a crocodile. So he said none of his descendants would take the meat of a crocodile.
Since then, it is a taboo for members of the community to take the meat of a crocodile. The crocodiles are regarded as their totems and are therefore harmless.
Unknowingly, if you hear the aroma of that of a crocodile, you develop boils on your body. We have a pond in the community where they fetch the water and they mix with some concoctions to rub the body, and then the boils will go away. And then again, in case an indigenous elder is going to pass away in the community or outside the community, one of these animals will move from the pond to any household in the community. So when elders see it this way, they know that something is going to happen in the community. And then normally, it's not necessarily where the person is going to pass away that it will go to. By 3 to 4 days' time, it will come back to the pond. And while in the community, it doesn't harm anybody. It can be in your kitchen, it can be in your compound for the 3 days or 4 days before coming back to the pond again.
Despite the eloquent display of knowledge on the crocodiles by the tour guide, we still had doubts about their existence, and we decided to visit the pond to see for ourselves. Members of the Kolomana Tourism Committee initially were reluctant and had doubts about the appearance of the crocodiles outside the pond because of the timing. It was on a Friday. The sun was at a zenith and scorchy. There was complete silence around the pond area except the chirping of birds. The tour guide, Justice Nudawana, appears with a chicken on hand and started calling on the crocodiles. Few minutes later, Lady's Luck smiled on us and we saw some sort of turbulence on the rather calm pond.
Nabalwana! Nabalwana!
The biggest and the oldest for that matter, in top speed, swam out of the pond and ordered to lie on the bare stony rough sand.
See that's coming. Can you tell to stop? You can see that it has stopped. Based on that instruction, that telling the crocodile to stop, and it lie down.
The over 80-year-old grandfather crocodile was accompanied by other 70 smaller crocodiles, but they stayed at the periphery, watching how things will pan out. In fact, they served as guards.
I've seen you when we got here. You were saying, Nabalawana, Nabalawana. What is that?
That is my grandfather come. My grandfather come in the local language. When you say Nabale, that is my grandpa. Wana means come. And it's a long union between the community and then the animals. Over here, we believe that the crocodiles are our totems.
Can I come here alone?
If you come here alone and then call,
if I say Nabalawana, will it come?
It will not come.
Because I'm not a member of the community?
Yes, even the tour guide.
Okay.
Even those who are members of the community, if you come here on ordinary day, say Nabalawana, it listens to the voice. So if not one of the tour guides, it will never come, or the manager.
Okay.
The tour guide holding the chicken was being granted the interview. The hungry grandfather crocodile began to run out of patience and few times made some gestures, but the tour guide wouldn't budge. When the chicken was finally thrown at it, the rather calm crocodile became aggressively ferocious and missed it. It was directed to go back to pick it. There are over 100 crocodiles, we are told, in this pond per statistics from the last census conducted.
In the year 2012, we had experts from Germany and the USA they came down with their machines to assist us to do the census. After the census, we had 97 animals in the pond. And outside the pond,
animals here, we are talking about crocodiles.
Crocodiles.
Okay.
We counted 97 crocodiles, and then outside the pond, we counted 7.
The tour guide appeals to the government through the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Arts and Culture to help fence the pond and also provide recreational facilities to boost up tourism in the area.
You see that the animals are not tame because the place is not fenced. If only we get a support to fence the pond, we can train them for people to sit on them and even touch them. And then again, when tourists come to the pond, where to sit sometimes is a problem. So if only we can get summer huts around the pond, it will help boost the tourism activities in the community.
A view equally shared by the president of the Kulumaha Youth Association.
We want to appeal to organizations, particularly those into natural conservation, to come and dredge this pond. As you can see, those days, all of this place used to be water. But you can see that now it has been silted. And so we are appealing to organizations to come to our aid to try to dredge this pond for us. Thank you.
So we have crocodiles here at Kumasi. And so the next time you are passing by on the Kumasi Road, at least just take a peep at Kumasi and come to this pond. You see these crocodiles here. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Kulumaha. La ilaha illallah Muhammadullah.